Shabbos. Ray starts off with telling that there'll be brachas and klolos and harevo and hadrizim, but it's written in a funny way. Ray anoichi, I'm going to give to you today bracha and klola. Es ha-bracha asher tishmu, the bracha you get asher tishmu, if you learn the Torah, if you keep the Torah, tishmu, the word shmira is always learning. Shmaltem v'asisim. Okay. V'haklola, and lo tishmu, if you don't learn. But it doesn't tell you what the bracha, the klola is. So the Rosh Yeshiva Zatzal said that pshat is, that's good for what it says. Bracha asher tishmu. The bracha is that you learn Torah. That's the bracha, because you learn ideas, you learn hashkafis, you learn the way of life. That's a bracha that people enjoy, that have a good, that can appreciate it, love it. And the klol is, if you don't listen to the Torah, you don't learn the Torah, you live a life of goyim, or whatever you want to call it, of fraya, there's no appreciation to what's right, no knowledge of right. There's mishugasin out in the world. So that itself is a klola. That type of life is a klola. So what it means, so it is telling you what the bracha of the klola is. It happens to be this schab also. That's in Hamilton, we'll have in Kisovei. But that's not negayat to telling you the thing. The first thing it's telling you is that the biggest bracha you can have is learning the Torah. And explain that. I mean, we many times spoke already about it. It's not negayat. Some will talk maybe a little bit more, but as we go through, because Ray goes through a lot of important inyanim. But we say everywhere in davening, mishpotim bal yidom, that, mishpotim means it's a mitzvah with a reason. We understand it, right? And it says yet that goyim don't understand it. They don't know it. If it's so understood, it's called understanding. So what's yikasha? What do you mean you don't know it, right? So the simplest thing we can see, one thing, let's say Geneva. Why is Geneva also? Okay. Because it was mine. Right? That's what you'll tell me, right? So therefore there's din of Bibles, there's din of that. What about if I want to decide, well, first of all, let's go even into Shalom. What he had right at the beginning in picking of us. The first guy is Shali, Shalach. Right? It seems to be okay. Mine is mine, yours is yours. It's a very good thing, right? So that's one man. The other said, this is Maisa Beinani. And he actually ashamed him, it's Maisa's doim. What's it going also? It's a bad thing? It's a terrible thing? Yes, it depends. I don't want to have something to do with you. So that's one way of understanding ownership. That means, I don't care where you are. You see up here in the Hicks, in a place over here, the guys that live there all years, a mile apart. The next house is over there. Who cares who's there? You have no shaykhs with people. I'm not interested in having shaykhs with people. So that's not necessarily a good thing. But I don't touch what's yours. That's true. You don't touch mine. You come in the city, and right now, during the summer, it's been which cities, particularly LA. I think I remember down in Texas they also had. I don't remember which one. Now that 30, 40, 50 stores at one time were just robbed. People just went into the store, took everything they want, and ran out of the store. In New York, you can't prosecute, or you can't. It's up to the DA. But the DA has advised his people, he's the one that prosecutes, that not to enforce Geneva. Geneva is pshat. Let's say a guy would come into your house, right, and wants to steal from you. I took a gun and shot him on purpose, even according to the guy. Right? Why? Because you're coming into my house, I don't know, you're a dangerous person, whatever it is. Shoplifting is a different type of law. That's, even though it's a Zoba Gezel, I'm coming into your property, but that's not called why? I guess because this is what you're trying to sell anyway, so it's not mine, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So the law is in New York that you should not prosecute New York City for sure, except if you live in Staten Island. That's one mile you have over there, because in Staten Island we're still under Republicans, but even though the DA is a Democrat. But he still has some kind of Republican ideas, like there's such a thing as Bibles. But the rest of the city, what they have is you go into a store, you can walk out with $1,000 worth of stuff and nobody can stop you. I don't want to pay for it. I'll give you, so I'll call a cop. I can't stop you. I ain't stopped. You're just walking out with my money. You didn't pay. No, you can't stop me. Give me a ticket. Call a cop will give me a ticket. The ticket, if I show up, I'll show up. I don't show up, I don't show up. I mean, that's your problem. But Lamais, that's why. What's the hashkafa behind it? I mean, isn't that hefkeris? Isn't that something that'll destroy the thing then? So their concept is there's an union of having a balance of nechosim, right? You know, we call it socialism, call it whatever you want to call it. But you have to have a balance. How do we protect people? If nobody's missing anything, so then he won't want to rob anybody else, right? So therefore we have to make sure that everybody should get what they want, what they can have, right? Now obviously to get everybody should get what they want, that's an impossibility. According to it's not always an impossibility. Rome didn't have that impossibility, and Klal Yisrael doing the bracha didn't have that impossibility. But what do I mean by the impossibility? You guys know what the American dream is? You don't see anybody here that seems to it. Anyway, it means a house, a thing that God, whatever it is, that's something happening, like nice stuff. Right? Everybody has that dream, so everybody wants it, right? Not only do we want it, but our cleaning ladies also want it, right? So for our cleaning ladies to get the same thing that we have, somehow they have to have the same money that we have, so they have to charge us $100 an hour to clean our houses. Because you charge me $100 an hour, I who want to be more than you, because I have to charge $1,000 an hour now for my work, right? So what's going to happen? It's going to be inflation. It's not going to make anything more than what it is now. And you're still not going to even out the people, right? The only way you can even out the people is if money is coming mibachutz. And that was like for Rome, the people of Rome didn't work. The armies of Rome robbed the world, and they sent that in. If you were a citizen, you got a chelik of the booty and the things. And you saw you also had such a concept. Yeah, by Midian, you saw that the ones that died Samachoma, they get half. And the other half goes to Klal Yisrael. Now, with a certain amount of monies that goes into Klal Yisrael from the outside, even though we're not doing anything there. And what was the product that's given to us in the Yosha, that we should have, that we eat Yosha Noishan, we get that a better quality bread, flour, whatever you can call it. It's 2 years old, it's the highest, mashma. More than that, there isn't anything. If you make it 3 years old, it should be a bigger mile. No. It's 1 year that makes it Yoshan, 2 years makes it Noishan. And you eat Yosha Noishan. For the rest of the world, that we were able to take out the Yoshim and ship it all over the world, and then we can fill it up with the Chodesh that we're going to get, which will get the thing. The Beniman is giving us that much bracha that we're going to have that. Otherwise, it's just the way of the Pasuk is singing, just playing musical chairs. I'm taking out the Yoshim from here, and where am I putting it? Got to build new warehouses. So why not just leave it here and build the new warehouses for the new stuff? Why do I have to schlep it out and then place it in there? That's right. It doesn't mean I'm schlepping it out for that. That'd be crazy. Unless I'm sending it away. That's what I'm thinking. And then we sell it. And that gives us the money that we need, whatever it is. Okay. I know we got there for now. Okay, after that, the Torah tells us about the union. You'll come, what do you call it? Chukim HaMishpotim Asher Tishbon Rasis Ba'aretz. It says Chukim HaMishpotim, and it only seems to discuss Chukim. Now here you have a mixture really. Maybe it's Chukim HaMishpotim. What is it? Is that Mechuyev to destroy Avodah Zarah. Right? So now imagine this. We capture this country and we're wiping out Avodah Zarah. Right? And we come into this their temple, and we see that the Avodah Zarah is a thing about this big, solid diamond. That must be worth trillions of dollars. Who knows what? Where do you get a piece of diamond that big? And what do you call the thing that why would how many yeshivas we can hold up with that, and how much Torah we can have with that, and something like that. And what the Torah tell you? Destroy it. It's worthless. It hasn't got any value at all. What are you talking about? I'll walk into the lab. I'll call up the New York, Museum of Art, and I'll say, would you like to buy such a thing? $3 billion, no question. They'll give me the money for it. What's the question for? Why wouldn't I do that? Because it's Avodah Zarah and it's worthless. So the Indian that Chukim, so two things we have. One is we have to destroy it. Why? Because if it's destroyed, there's no Chash, everyone's going to serve it anymore. There's nothing there. It's gone. And this prat, you should know that and maybe that's their schus, I have no idea. I mean, the Arabs are quite successful. And they're too stupid maybe to know that they're successful. It's a different story. But they're quite successful. They have a lot of oil. They have what do you call make cement. They have there's riches among them. It's not a Persian country. Yet, when in Afghanistan, because this is going back to when Bush was in office and they fought in Afghanistan. So what did they do? There was two big Buddhas built into a mountain, 800 feet tall, a Buddha. And that's 800 feet tall is 80 floors. That's a pretty big statue, right? It was built into the things. And it was around for, who knows, thousands of years, right? And they went and blew it up. Why? So they destroyed it. And this idolatry, they destroyed it. They came in to places, especially the more former ISIS and stuff. They come to a place and there's Roman ruins from what they try to possess, throw it down. Now this was once a temple for Avodah Zarah, they destroy it, right? By us, we don't do that. Well, we don't do it not because we want Avodah Zarah. We're afraid of world opinion. I mean, maybe they'll attack us. Sometimes we don't do what the din is. Right? They're not worried about public opinion. They don't care what you think about them. They do what they believe is what's right and wrong. Okay, so I don't know if that's a schus for them or not. I'm just saying it's dangerous. The big zoya on this, on this Indian. Zoya is, most zoyas is I saw, I don't know all the printings, I only saw a couple. So it's really in Parshas Vo'era, but they bring it down in Parshas Vayera. Okay. Now, what is the story? It's a funny story. Funny, I mean, strange. The Malach of Yishmael davened 400 years before the Rebbeinu Shalom that they should have a land. Okay, I don't know what the chiyuv of 400 years is, and they kept begging until the Rebbeinu Shalom finally said, "I'll give you Eretz Yisrael when the Jews are not there." And therefore it says it's very hard for us to get it back. That's in the Zohar, Rabbi saying. So he's actually describing our time, whatever it is there. He gave it to them. Why did he give it to them? Think about why did he give it to them? What's the 400 years? To my mind was, why did we end up with the Chivi? Chivi wasn't even given to us. If you take a look in Parshas Lezchut by the Bris Absorim, there is no Chivi mentioned there. There are 10 nations, which is who takes the place of the Chivi, the Rephoim. And there is no Chivi mentioned there. So why did we end up with the Chivi? Why is it talking about the 7 nations we got to destroy? One of them is the Chivi. Don't make any sense. Because the Chivi is part of Esav's Yerusha. Keni, Kizi, Kizi, Kadmoni. One of the 3 is Esav. So what Esav had, his Cheshbon was the Chivi. He got Hareva, what he called. So that is the Chivi. We see in Parshas Vayishlach, we see that they're the Chivi. They were called the Chayri, not because what they were able to smell stuff, but the real name of the nation is the Chivi. So they're the Chivi. But they also had a part in Eretz Yisrael. Which was that part? You had Shem was a Chivi, and you have Divainim were Chivi, all of them were Chivis. And all of a sudden they said, and Rashi says that the world, they left Eretz Yisrael, or they left it, that the land wasn't big enough for both of them. So Rashi says, doesn't mean the land wasn't big enough for both of them. It means Esav didn't want to go to Mitzrayim. The thing is, we said, Ger Yezarecha be'eretz lohem. Right? You want to get the Yerusha, you got to go to Mitzrayim. I don't want to go to Mitzrayim, so I'll give you the Yerusha. But only the Yerusha that's in Eretz Yisrael. Now, that's near the Beis HaMikdash, the left. Haaretz doesn't seem to bother anybody that he took it. So that they took it. So he left it for the Klal Yisrael. So therefore, what they left, we don't have to wait for the loss of Lava. We have a right to take it now. And that's what happened when we came into Eretz Yisrael. We took 7 nations thing. But did we actually kill them or not? I have no idea. Because if they're the Gevonim, well, only that they also were Chivis. So maybe Taka, we didn't kill anybody. They all be Megaya. And I think, so I can't answer you any of the questions. But Lamaisa, that's how the Chivi got there. Okay. So we have in there the Mishpat. The Pshat is, we want you separate. I don't want you with the Goyim. I don't want you with the thing there. And you see Chazal made the Yud Ches Daba. That was they made for keeping us separate. That's how the Bishalakim and Pasakum and Cholavakum and all these things. These will have nothing to do with kashrus. It has to do with, we don't want you to be shaykhs with them. We don't want you attached to them. So the ones that we couldn't live without, like Pasaku, came out that we can't live without it, we had to come onto it, so therefore that one was not miskabel. But the rest of them were miskabel. Now, when it comes to the Avodah Zarah, but the what is the chayk of it is I'm destroying things that are so valuable. The purpose of cooking is to teach, is not so much to teach you anything, as much as to train you. So there's the chukim that spend money, that cost money, that teaches you Avas Hashem. And the chukim that just Asa stuff teaches you Yiras Hashem. Because there's no reasons except Hashem said so. Yeshiva used to put this as a simon to what Odom Rishon, what the Eitzadas. How did Odom Rishon real? I mean, according to the Torah, the whole thing was there was one day. I mean, but the whole idea that they were talking, it was all Friday, were kicked out. So there was no day. It was created then and it kicked out then, right? But obviously, about a lot of discussions between him and the Rebbeinu Shalem, told him what to do, what not to do. And then he kicked them out and told them again what to do and not to do. Okay. So it seems he's a Navi, right, and all that things. But let's say there was 15 minutes in a day since the basically what that day. So whatever it is, how much time he had that he wasn't doing, Adam Arisha would walk past the Eitz Hadas and I'll look at it and I'll say, it looks pretty good. Now let's understand what was an Eitz Hadas was according to the Mishnah, is that it's wheat. Now wheat doesn't seem to be much of a tree. I mean, it grows to the ground, but it's not a tree. So mashma, there was a tree once. And that was the Eitz Hadas. I would assume that if you didn't have, if everything on the Eitz Hadas, you just pulled it off and ate it. I mean, ate it, that's what a fruit is. A fruit, you go over to the tree, you take it off and you eat it. Same thing, I assume, was by the Eitz Hadas. So what do you have there? If you have bread, and you have nice challah, and a chocolate cream pie, and what do you call it, and everything you make from the Zionist was on that tree. Looks pretty good. Right? Walk into a bakery, it looks pretty good. I don't know if it smelled that good, but because it's the garden, I felt the garden smelled beautiful, but I don't know if it smelled the bakery. Okay, I walk in, so he wants to take a piece, see what it tastes like, right? His curiosity doesn't have the Yetzer Hara for it. That's understand. There's no Yetzer Hara for the thing. You walk by Chinatown, I don't think you have a Yetzer Hara to walk into the store and buy the fruits you never ate. Why not? Good question, but I don't have it. So by the way, you have to be careful. If you don't intend to buy those fruits and you walk by Chinatown, that's the Machal HaShechianu. Because the only reason you're supposed to make a Shechianu al Ariyah. The only reason we don't make it al Ariyah is because we're going to eat it. So we make it when we have the big Ranoya. If I don't intend to eat it, I'm required to make the Shechianu al Ariyah. So remember that. When you walk past Chinatown, you may have to make a lot of Shechianus every time you walk by. Okay. So I'm coming, but I have no Yetzer Hara for it. So what? So the point is, what Yetzer Hara did he get? Or the Marisha from eating from the Eitz Hadas? He got the Yetzer Hara that he knows the Maim Genuzim in Toko. That he knew. In other words, that there's a special Yetzer Hara because it's also a thrill or whatever you want to call it. That he learned. In other words, he's trying to figure out I don't know what those things mean. But this I understand. Before I didn't understand what it means, and now that I ate it and I got the thrill, I know what it meant. Okay. But the question is, so I said, but there's no real Yetzer Hara else itself to eat it. It's another food. I have enough food from other things. I don't have to use the Yetzer Hara for this. Right. So he says so, but it looks good. Why shouldn't I eat it? God said no. So the Shiva said that's all chazal b'zman hazeh. In other words, or treif animals, whatever it is, it looks good. I want to eat it, but God said no. That's the thing. So that teaches us Yiras Hashem. And then the third one is the Hashem's values. We're taking millions of dollars and says it's worthless. B'zman hazeh, really, it's Chometz and Pesach. This is really the one that we have. That's the one that's also ba'noya. What does that mean, it's also ba'noya? Right? It means it's also ba'noya. That's what it means. So if I bought $10,000 worth of stuff and I have no goy to sell it to. And I had this once with a guy, I don't know what he did. In the end, one of the big baking companies, and he was at this hotel with me, and he tells me after New York Times is gone that he forgot to sell the chametz. Okay, whatever he did there. We discussed all the angles. I don't remember what we came out with. Too many years ago. I can't remember. Anyway, but that was the problem, right? That means all the stuff I got is worthless. I just spent $10,000 yesterday for it. What do you mean it's worthless? And I can sell it to the goyim for $10,000 today. It's worthless. From Machlekes Rashi and Tesis, right in the beginning of Psochim, what is called Biur Chometz. Tesis holds Biur Chometz, kipshutit like we do, we burn it, right? And that's Biur Chometz. According to Rashi, it's the bittul of the Chometz is Biur Chometz. How is that a Biur Chometz? Right? Biur Chometz, that's what the Madregi was supposed to come to. When we see this chometz, it's supposed to be ke'afra li'aro. That's the washing we use when we say kol chamira v'chamira di'ike v'shusi. They have it ke'afra li'aro. Not that they use the putting in the word hefker. They take out the word hefker for that reason. In some places, why? Because it's not a din hefker. It's a din it doesn't have any value. It's afra li'aro. It's worthless. And the thing over there. That's the madregi you're supposed to get to. You see, it's money and it has no value to me. It's garment. So the same thing over here is supposed to be, it's valueless. I break it in this bottle now. No. A goy has to be mevatel to make it mutter. That's in the yeshiva. We had to have a goy to be mevatel it. Now, yet breaking something doesn't help us on there. Okay. Then it tells you what are you going to do there. You know, and when you go there, it says what are you supposed to do after you destroy it. You're supposed to bring everything there. By us, what are we supposed to do? We're not allowed to do what we did to the goyim, so we always have to watch by any type of destruction. By us, we have to be very careful. We can do a lot of that, right? And we have to bring everything to Yerushalayim, right? What's the purpose of that? I think that it mentions it. It tends to understand how we remain b'nei Torah all our lives. Obviously, if we're zoicha to remain in the kaisli space hamedrash constantly, that's the biggest bracha. And you'll say with the Rosh Hashiva been zoicha to that. I don't think he felt he was zoicha to that because he was maspid of This was in the name. What was his Aiden's name? Rabbi Yochem's Aiden's name that was in Muncie. He was in I expect to show you. You saw Chaim Kaplan, right? So when he was master of the Soul Chaim, so he said he was Zoichet to be his whole life in the case of Beis HaMedrash. And he didn't, so you're also Zoichet. So what's the big deal? No, I'm not Zoichet. I got to go out and raise money. I got to go out and speak people. I got to go out and travel all over the place and talk to people. That just let me learn. He was Zoichet to be able to learn the ganze Zeit. It's the Keyichus. Okay. So there's an Indian of Poshet to be because to learn because of Beis HaMedrash. But not everybody is Zoichet to that. Right? So, okay, the Hoshivi will say was Zoichet, at least the rest of the time, like you say, it's also L'Shem Shemayim, this, that. Everybody's L'Shem Shemayim, or should be. Right? I'm working. Why am I working? There was no job for me to get to in the yeshiva. Baruch Hashem, I mean, whatever it is there, everybody, all the classes are taken. There's no room for me. Okay. There's room for everybody because there's a lot of Frei Yidden out there still that we got to reach. There's no question about it, there's room for everybody. But Lamaisa, I don't feel I'm rugged. I didn't get the job for that reason. They don't think I can talk to the kids. I'm not even explaining. I don't speak the language. Whatever reasons we are, we go into business. Baruch Hashem was successful. And we're Zoicher by supporting Torah, very good. But we also cover eating. And a lot of B'nai Torah go away what you call for Yachikawa, right? And then they brag about it, they go for the Yachikawa, whenever it is, and they come back enthused and this, and they start to learn. No question about it. The Bench made it a guaranteed Yachikawa. The 10% of the Nechasa, what comes out to 8, for Maisa Sheni is only going to be 9%. But Maisa, you're talking about 9% of your yearly money you're supposed to give away for yourself. The B'chayres are for yourself. You're the one that eats the food. It's not a point of what normally there's a thing that the Kohen take everything. No, B'chayres, you got it. It's yours. Maisa Sheni is yours. You spend only Yerushalayim. And there you come and you have to be, that's one, that means for 5 weeks a year, the Reuven Shem says you live in Yerushalayim. Because that's what I gave you, I gave you 10% of your money. It's 5 weeks, right? I'm giving you 5 weeks, you got to live in Yerushalayim and spend your money there. And then when you speak with your money there, then Taki, you'll be coming back to the year, you see the Avodah, you see the Kehan Avodah, you saw the Mamodam, the Chonam, whatever it is, you see Kedusha, you see how it is. You come, you bring it home. When you come home, that's a good zach. So therefore, the bench betters, usually you see, why don't you take off a couple of weeks and go sit and learn? I can't afford it. You can afford it. Take 10% of your money and go do it. That's the thing, you can afford it. That's the base you made it, it's affordable with the chiyuv of Maisa Sheni and B'chayres. Yeah. Then you have a din of what he called Shchutei Chutz and the Yisr Bomis and stuff like that. It's very funny Yisr. We learned through Tanakh that only 2 Malachim were able to stop it. Now, when David and Shlomo and this time, if it's only Chal, if David built, it was Chal calls by Sheila was up, and the thing was only certain amount of years, only approximately 50-something years, that you were able to have bomus, the thing of v'noiv given, and shiloi v'noiv. During those times, it's the only time you were able to have bomus. But the bama gedola, or from Shiloi until Beis Hamikdash. I mean, but there was the base of the bama gedola, what they call the mizbeach, was even noiva given, but it was not the mokum hashayivcha. It was not in that Shiloi though had the din mokum hashayivcha, and in Yerushalayim. Okay. What was I trying to say? The lezchut. Right. So what's the problem with lezchut? So I want to say two malachim that were able to do it. That was Chizkiah Yeshio. The only two that were able. It says Rak habomus lisoru. It says Vayaz hatoiv yein Hashem hayosher bein Hashem. Yes, Yosher bein Hashem. Rak habomus lo hisir, something like that. I'm the only good guys, like Yosef, also, whoever they are after that, right? So the question is, why would they have bomus? It don't make any sense. You want to serve God, right? That's what you're telling me. So the guy is telling me, why are you going to make a bummer? Because to go to Yerushalayim is going to take me a week. I can't close my business for who knows when. I can't take off time to go to Yerushalayim. I live in the north, and it takes 2 weeks to get there, whatever stories you're going to tell me. So I'd rather go out to my backyard and make a bummer and be makev korban. And Benji says it's chorus. Right? You get chorus for that. We'll talk about why chorus in a minute. But you get chorus for that. And the guy says, I don't care. What are you, nuts? You want to serve God, and God tells you, I don't want it. What kind of service is that? Right? Of the state. So obviously there is such a yitzhar that I don't care. I want to serve you, I don't care. I heard this from a Chassidish Rebbe God. In a way, it sounds very good and strong, but I don't know, the way I just described it, maybe not. It's raining on Sukkot. So if you sit in the Sukkot, you're a hedgeh. Well, you can do, that's I think the wash you use. So there's even a bigger washing that's used. You're I think I hedge it, huh? Hedge it, make your hedge it. Okay. Maybe if you do there, right? So and he was sitting in the rain. So he says, I don't care what you call me, I'm going to do your mitzvah regardless if you don't like it. It's not a milo. These some were saying over here, you get chorus for that. It's a dangerous thing. You don't do things God says I don't want. Well, we can understand the dedication that a person could reach such a madrega that I want to serve you. You don't let me, I'm going to force myself to serve you. I'm going to force you to take my service. We're going to do that. And we had it before. We had it after Meraglim. What happened, the guy says, oh, we're going. And they come in and they got defeated right away. Right? So the thing over there is, because I'm not with you. I don't want you to do it anymore. It's not the thing there. You can only do it when I want you to do it, not when you wanted to do it. Okay, the reason for this is because the Rebbeinu Shalom wants discipline in the Avodas Hashem. You see, it comes right after Avodas Zorah, the union of Bomus. It comes right after Avodas Zorah, because you see Avodas Zorah, what did they do? They had every high place, every beautiful tree, everything. They slucked Avodas Zorah. In other words, I'm always serving God the same way. And you think that, so therefore, I can serve him. I don't have to go to church. I can do it in my backyard. So therefore, I serve him the way I want to serve him, not the way they think. The same thing goes with Yiddishkeit. I go at my own shul. I'm not going to your shul. I don't want to do things there. I don't want to hear what the rabbi's got to say. I got my own opinion. That's no good. That's the thing there. Well, you want to serve God? Go to Beis HaMikdash. You see the Kohanim. You talk to them. They'll tell you how to do it. Whatever it is, there's a discipline that exists in what there's the Mailas al Mizbechi, the end of Yisrael, that when you build Beis HaMikdash, you have a ramp. You don't have steps. Why? So it says you shouldn't see the elbow. Okay, the kasha is, it doesn't make any sense. He's wearing pants. He's got a big outfit. Okay, but you say you can see under the dress, he's wearing the big thing there. But he had pants. You can't see his elbow. But you spread your foot and the thing. Whatever you want to answer it, it don't make too much sense. But as I state, okay, I want to learn different shot. The thing that also means elva, doesn't mean the thing that Bali Tshuva. I'm not talking about the guy in Yeshiva and stuff about Tshuva. But the ones that, let's say, 20 years old, someone told him about it, something happened to him, and because of that, he wants to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? So you'll sometimes see some of them, lange pace, but for very long hair too, on the things often, and maybe even some earrings and rings. This is, something's wrong, right? Something wrong. This guy wants to serve God, there's no question about it. He told me Payas is something to serve God, I'm doing Payas, I don't care. Anything over there. But you can make a mistake too. I'll explain that in a minute. It's very important. So why? So because when you go up steps, you go up the madrege, you're up 10 inches with one movement, right? Well, if I walk there up a ramp, it'll take me 10 feet to get there. Right. I don't know exactly how big the ramp is, but I mean it's steep it is. But if you take a look, the kevish was very long. You have the pictures there, so it's a long kevish. You get up the 5 amma questions, how many ammas it really was. Okay. So I'm saying it's a big thing. Guy goes up a madrege that fast, then he doesn't go up with his whole body. He doesn't pick up all the nuances he has to get to as he goes. You go slow, you pick up all the things. You don't look up, you don't look different, you don't look queer, you don't look sick. And therefore, you should go slow. When you go with a step, you may sometimes overgo. So I said, but you could make a mistake. So I said, like you're seeing this guy with the way I just described him. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about a guy, depends how your machshava is. There's a Gemara to tell you you're not allowed to have this. This is taught to Reb Shimon and Elazar Reb Shimon, depending in two places. In the Gemara or in the Chanis, it switches the name. But whatever it is, whoever it was is a Tana, right? Reb Shimon and Elazar. And what did he do? Once saw an ugly man. And he asked the ugly man, I'll give you the Gemara in a second, he asked the ugly man, is all the people in your town as ugly as you? That's a crazy question. What does the people of my town got to do with me? Right? What would you ask the question? Would say everyone is as gorgeous as you? What's that question? So he said, no. The way you learn the chat, By Hasidic stuff, you have this stuff. I see the pneumius of the person. And he sees the pneumius of the person, and it's ugly. That's what he saw. What were they trying to teach him a lesson? Was because sometimes it's a mistake. So Rashi and Teitz say both there was a Leo Navi. That was the ugly man. And the point was to teach him a lesson. So he says to him, if everybody is ugly as you, meaning are you a Russia that lives among Rishoyim? So he says, well, I'm not forgiving you until you tell my Peiray that he created an ugly vessel. And then he realized he made a mistake that there is some people in the world that the Benishim made ugly for whatever reason he did. So I can't just judge it by saying, a lot of Nailam have to watch out for these things. Doctors, they definitely make mistakes like that. I can do this operation with my hands tied behind my back. Right? As I gave it, Manayel can tell you, I can recognize a good kid in 2 minutes. I can tell you if he's a good boy and a bad boy. Well, maybe 90% of the time he may be right. But sometimes you make a mistake. That one mistake costs you your life. Doesn't think that's not a game. So he was trying to teach him. So he was begging him Mechila until he got to his own town. And the people came out to greet him. And he came, so the ugly man asked the people, who are you dressing as Rebbe and Meiri? He said, the guy behind you. He says, him? That guy you're asking, does anybody know what he did? So they asked, what did he do to you? So he said that he insulted him. He said, I asked him for forgiveness for us. I said, I'll forgive you if you won't do it anymore. So he forgives him. He says, that day he went up to the Beis HaMedrash HaGodel Sheloi, and he darshan the person should always be Rach Kakone, he shouldn't be kosher keretz. What has that got to do with this whole story? But the ikir is, I know, I'm a kosher keretz. No, I'm a Rach Kakone. I'm not so sure on anything there. Don't be so sure of anything that you say. A person is always leaves some doubt in his mind that he may be wrong. The question is what to do about it. Can I afford to take mistakes? Can I afford not? That's a different story. Not that machen geisach heshbenes. But lemaisa to turn a guy down because for Parshas to uptight a person with 2 seconds, he may not be able to do. That was the lesson that was trying to teach us. There's an Indian of it doesn't say this. It doesn't say here, I don't think we say Moiselechu. I don't think so. Okay, we understand, but the ikir is we shouldn't try to imitate the goyim. There's such a thing. We're not supposed to imitate the goyim in the avodas Hashem. And there used to be as a kid, used to a Yiddish joke, I guess you call it. And it was one of these Galach rabbi stories, where the Galach asked, how come you guys are so loud in shul, or something like that. Why is the shul's dirty? And the, what do you call it, clean, I don't remember all of them, why it's a good business, a whole bunch of them. Anyway, the story was, the answer was, the churches are cleaner than the shuls because your God got a mother to clean up after him. So you can know that, okay. Why they're, so one of them was, why we so loud? Because we live here. It's not something like, you visit. We don't visit, we live here. And something, things like that. No, it's to show that we're not like you. It's not, we don't do this decorum, as you call it, not a milah in the thing over there. They open. So it's not a mile. It's not something we go for. We have to be quiet and this and that thing. So it says you're not supposed to. So the English Chukas HaGoyim, I want to tell you. What is Chukas HaGoyim? Now, let me tell you, I mean, I got married. I wore tails and a top hat with a bow tie. Okay? The Shiva wore a top hat. Now, in Europe, every Rav wore a top hat. A cylinder, it's called. Every see, it was the silver. Always when we came to things, Shabbos and these things. The weekdays not. But Shabbos, so we went on an official trip. It was officially, this was the clothes of Bigdei, that's Bigdei Malchus. That's not called Bigdei, what do you call ambassadors, as late as Roosevelt, probably even later. I don't know, probably Kennedy was more mevakarit, and then they used to have to wear this type of tails on what they call. In the Yeki Shul in the Glen Avenue synagogue in Baltimore, I wasn't there when this minig existed, but their minig was, if you got an aliyah, they told you before, and you had to buy full clothes, and to get the aliyah, you don't get it unless you wear tails and stuff like that, because that's malchus itself. You should understand what you're going up to do. You're not just going up like, go up, up my jacket, you're going up to get an aliyah. So to teach you that lesson, they used to require that. You know, we say so it's too much, you know, but why is it too much? Because we're too lazy or it costs money. Two things, but that's not the only real reason that's too much. But then it changed. There was a big movement. It was going worried. Also, okay, could be. So change. A person buys a new suit. Okay, that's good. If I buy new suits, you're going to get married. The wife rents a gown for $300 or $500. He buys a new suit for $100. Big deal. Okay, but they took it. Okay, that's our thing that he's. That's not the Chukasei Moselech. Taking off your yarmulke is the Chukasei Moselech. Okay? Why? And this you may think is a garment. Tip your hat to the ladies. I never heard of that, right? I don't think you guys heard of it. But anyway, that's part of etiquette. You tip your hat when you show cover to somebody. You tip your hat. I say this: you come into a place where you think you remove your hat. It means you come in. Why is that chukas hakoyim? Maybe that they're just showing respect, right? What makes it respect? If you notice Arabs, Svaldim, you guys don't know too much of Svaldim. I mean, you know a little bit more, but you know only B'nai Tev of Svaldim. They wear yarmulkes. Balabatim of Svaldim don't wear yarmulkes. Why? Because they live among Arabs. Among Arabs, that the Arabs also cover their hair and don't cover their hair. There's no difference. You know? By the Christians, if you want to come into their church, you have to remove your cap. Right? So it shows covered, right? You're going to cover the cup. That's what their people are saying. So you're showing cover, going into the church. So wherever you want to show respect, you take off the head, right? But so why would that be Chukasei Moselech? It was a taz on this, by the way. Okay, so Shiur is What is it? So my father explained it to me. He says the goyim don't use an emtsoi. You guys know that the Pope wears a yarmulke all the time. You know that? A white one, by the way. And the cardinal wears a yarmulke all the time, a red one. And a bishop wears a purple one, all the time. A galach does not, except maybe when he does avodah. He does the actual, what do they call it? Whatever the avodah is called. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, that's what he does. Why should we yarmulke? They don't have an emtsoi. There's no one between them and God. When you wear yarmulke, you're showing a certain respect that you have for Kodesh Baruch Hu. They understand it too. But if I don't do it, I'm only an animal because I need somebody else to get there. So they take the people are animals. They take off their hat. You're not royal with kach. That's the point that they show you. It's not a point of religion showing you a choshev, a place to take off your hat. Dipshit. It's not what the purpose is. The purpose is that you're an animal and you don't deserve to wear a hat. So only the emtsoi can wear the hat. Only the guy in the middle, the galach, can wear the yarmulke, not you. We all have our own relationship with our Kodesh Baruch Hu. We don't go through an emtsoi. We always have a road, so we always wear yarmulke. So that's the thing. So there's different when you have to wear yarmulke. It's not always that you have to. It's when you have a Shem Hashem, you learn Torah, you have to have it. Svardim, like the Pshat, they do it, they don't have it else the goyim. So they only do what they have stated in the Gemara that you have to do. So you go, I used to go sometimes to the yeshiva for money, and we went to Svardim, and they would take out, when the yeshiva would come in, they would take out a yarmulke from their pocket, put it on their head. Because now I'm going to I have to wear yarmulke now. You can just take out a yarmulke like that. As opposed to the, I don't know if by the Yekis you have that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. It could be different than Eitels. I can't make that as a statement. You know what I mean? Because perhaps there will be different reasons why you're not wearing a yarmulke. But the thing is, so the question was, if you're even listening, Yav or not. That's the question. But somehow it's not Yav. As a kid, I didn't know that. So we used to get beat up every day, going to yeshiva. Until John, or Johnny, whatever you want to call him, became the Pope. The thing there, it was a mitzvah to beat up kids, Jewish kids, to kill them or whatever it is. He was the one that was mevatel it. And even though the next Pope was Paul, which meant we brought back all the things he wanted to do mevatel, is nice, that much I don't know if they brought back. And under John Paul, you give over a middle, they show how to invade it. And then you have the next two that are there now, Stam, the followers of the Tikholik. So they weren't as much hitting us as they used to beat us up. The Shaila was, though, you have to take off your yarmulke. That's what I thought, that you see guys coming, and you know you're going to get into a fight with him. And the first thing he's going to tell you is take off your yarmulke. And that's how you're going to learn how to start the fights. Take off your yarmulke. So, right, you're going to say no, right? Or you're scared because he's twice as big as you are. So then you're going to take off your yarmulke. That may be in this of Yava, because it's who they said Moisalechel. So therefore, I recommend you take off your yarmulke before you meet the guy. You see him coming, take it off before he tells you to take it off. So then you don't have that problem. Okay? But not mashal so from the task. I can't answer you why. I don't know, but mashal that mitzvah, somehow there were the people, the business and this, that they do. They took off the yarmulkes and stuff like that. Now, Baruch Hashem, you go in front of the Supreme Court, you can wear yarmulke already. The only place you still can't wear yarmulke, that's when the Arab was getting, what's her name? The one, Ilam, little Yam, whatever her name is, though. So she, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, you're not allowed to cover your hair. Yeah, you're a Christian. And I mean, that's the halacha, not because of Christian, because we're a free country here. It can be anybody else there. But this is a Christian country. It's not a Jewish country. It's not an Arab country. It's a Christian country. There are certain laws of Christianity still existing. Christmas is still a national holiday. You think over there. It's a thing over there. And then Easter is a national holiday. Well, why is it a national holiday? A lot of guys don't believe in this. Don't believe in don't hear what you guys believe. This is a Christian country. You're living by us, not living by this. And this, if you're studying these things, so you'll know that it took a long time before you were able to make a shvuah, because they make you swear on a Bible. So the Bible, they use a Christian Bible, right? Well, I don't believe in a Christian Bible, but you're able to substitute it with a Jewish Bible. That took many years to do that. So in other words, there was a constant question of what to do. How do you swear? What all the things off. And when you were allowed to do this and stuff, each state was different in that thing there. That wasn't only a federal thing. But as it got easier, as time went along, that's the thing of observation. That's what we're now like the freedom with Chaim was. That we are for Jews, like until probably I think the 90s. If you wanted to take a test to do federal work in the federal government, we had the tests were given on Shabbos. You can't take it, tough luck. It's coming time. But now you can say I'm a Sabbath observer, so they give it to you on a different day. You can take it. So I can actually become work for the government now, if I want to, and stuff like that. In other words, that's a freedom, and that's the fourth freedom of when you talk about the Abba L'Shonis. We'll finish with this. The Abba L'Shonis of freedom doesn't mean they were just you have 4 different ways of saying freedom. Synonyms. There are 20 synonyms. There are 20 cases. One. There's 4 steps in Chayros, or 5 steps if we hold the basic. The first step is Avodas Perech. That's what it says in the Pasuk. The second step is Ma'avaydosam. I'm not an Eved at all, but I'm still a second-class citizen. The third one is I'm an equal citizen if I live like a goy. And the fourth says I can live like a yid and be free. And the fifth one is you wouldn't have this problem if you had your own country. So that's opposed to having your own country. It's also my and freedom. So what gave us the right to wear yarmulkes is not because the Pakistanis that came that time, whatever, I forgot what they called already. When they came and they won't take off the turbans, and they also want to be police, and they wanted to be firemen, and they wanted to be this. So they had to make some kind of psholos with them, so they can wear yarmulkes now too. That's the thing of them. So if you know this, I don't know if you guys know that, you come across them, I sometimes have to go to these police things. So when I go there, usually they bring in all their former Hasidic guys that are cops. Hasidic guys that are cops. And the thing over there, so one of them, I remember from years ago, he used to daven b'Yalus at the shul. First he'd have to put his gun down. And before he daven Shmonesa, he wouldn't daven Shmonesa with his gun on his thing over there. It's also probably illegal, I don't know what the thing over there. That's what he used to do. I'm saying, but you come there, you'll find there's many from Yidden many, whatever, 30, 40, whatever it is, that are cups that are from the Yidden. That are with their payers, with their, what do you call, and it's not hanging down, they stick it on top, but okay, but it's, and they have a beard, they let the beard go, which that's one of the things they make you shave off, because you have to use a mask sometimes. They do that. Originally, the cop saw you had to be clean shaven to be a cop, not be clean shaven with a beard. And all these things are all because of the Punjabs. That's what they came here, so they had, I'm not taking it off, and they had a country. So the country made them more choshev, like, they got a whole country like that, you want people from that country, got to do that. Okay, if we would have had out your soil, literally yarmulkes and stuff, then we would have been a big deal. But that's why they're lazy. It's still a regular freedom. Different type. A good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos, a lot of hanoch. Shabbos. We'll spend Shabbos with the Mitzvah.
Thank you. Okay.